Okay, game 2 is in the books, but let's give it some looks before we move on. Cammy D, highlight time.
Miramar is the shooter's playground, and, well, it didn't fail to deliver this time around. A lot of solo plays across the board.
Who failed to deliver, though? E United, 16-16, back-to-back. Too soon, but too real. Ghost with a nice big push against Vicious Gaming, but then the wheels come off as everyone tries to get involved. Nades, nades, nades.
Yeah, so there was actually a lot of convoluted fights that happened early because the center of the circle was so open. Everyone was fighting for the edge, and they had to wait for the upper ground to get taken out before they can push in. But look at this amazing 2v1 by Felix.
2v1, so many things flying through the air. Dr. J would have been impressed. Define Legit tries to clear the shack. They lost one and almost a second, but Smoking Aces does get down STK. WTF, that's when they choose their chance to set up. So Malicious cleaning out Noble. Wasn't quite enough though, was it?
Yeah, and there's a 1v1, the 1v1v1 at the very end. And Headshore, he does run out of bullets on his AK, whips out the Mini. And then, well, the blue at the back of Smoking Aces is gonna give the second victory to NPL Phase.
A second teammate when you got the blue? It did the damage that he needed it, then he finished off with the Mini 14. 8 bullets in his spray R. If Soapy had been a little farther forward, he might have lost out on that load.
But he was gonna be the AR of the map.
Oh, it's back. It feels so good. Yeah. All right, so this is the flight path going over beautiful Miramar. As you look at this map, you can see the big difference between here and Erangel is elevation, elevation,
Yes.
elevation. And that's what gave WTF the win. We'll talk about later how they went mid early. Fast transition. See where WTF dropped down there on the south. They did a little bit of trash looting, but very quickly they left and they made their transition. I think that's a big part of this. Circle establishes itself. A pretty popular area for the first circle, Cameron.
Yeah, it's not exactly southwest, but they've been favoring the west especially a lot. But YTEM Fate, as was mentioned on the interview, went center very early, which at least to me is new for them. They generally like to play on the edge, but it's been an adjustment, it's been an adaptation because everyone else has been playing more and more edge. They swing the other way, and well, it led them into opportunity to get a victory, and that's what they did.
Absolutely. Let's see if we get the travel path. WTF has been great at adapting so far. Immediately loaded up and moved to a spot that guaranteed 100% chance of the third circle. I think it ended up being a 70% chance of the fourth, and then from then they were in a great spot to move forward. Smoking Aces, also very long transition to get there,
Yes.
so a shout out to them. They had to work. I mean, they walked away with 11 kills on that last one, so they definitely had to work hard to get those points.
Absolutely.
All right, this is the final fight, Cameron. Remember the 1v1v1. Walk me through this just a little bit.
So Headshore, just moments before this, actually did a really nice move of he had the 1v1 against Opulicious, but he rotated up, rotated north to try and get away from that. He wasn't able to finish the kill, and so he tried to get a separate angle. It also got him closer to the circle.
Now remember, that's it. When the circle is finalized, there's a little white point right in the middle that's where it's going to end. We saw Endemic use that to their advantage yesterday. Headshore used it here. He slipped around, made sure he was going to be the last one to have to move, and that's what gave him the win. He could stand at the rock. You see the last man from Endemic get taken out, and then Headshore says, well, you've got to come to me. And from there, the win is in the bag.
That's a big mindset of playing this game. You don't always want to have to run to the kills. Sometimes you set up and let the kills come to you.
But I want to point out, he did the interview. His eyes were red. His hands were shaking. He said, I was nervous. So remember, when you're playing at home, that moment, right, when the endorphins kick in and the chaos is everywhere, even the pros feel that. These guys have thousands, 4,000 hours for some of them, and they still get that surge when it comes down to 1v1. That's why we love PUBG. Match 2, day 2, rankings from the game. What do you think, Cameron?
19 points for YTEM Fate, a good collection for them, considering that after the very first game, they were on a bit of a slump, but this is going to be a nice little start to the heart for them. But Smoking Aces in second, 17 for them. Good climb for them as well, because they're another one of those teams who are going to have to learn to gather their footing.
Endemic in a good spot. Lazarus gets to 5th. They went out in 8th place, but again, rack up a pretty good kill count. 7 kill points there.
You pointed out United for going out in 16th, but with the 2 kills, they at least got 2 points. That was 10th overall, so it may not be that bad for them, but here is going to be the overall rankings, and they are still at the bottom, so...
You said not too bad for them. And then
I spoke maybe a little too soon, but it's, you know, baby steps.
Brutal. Big name for me up on top, Tempo Storm. This is a team that could win this whole thing and maybe not even take home a chicken dinner because they put out so many kills. They play so aggressive. They go out, but when they do it with style. SSG in second, and they're the opposite, right? These guys play for the wins.
Yeah.
Their kill counts are lower, but their consistency is bananas. Now, speaking of both of those teams, our featured teams in Match 3 that we'll be following through our last round of Miramar is Space Station Gaming, Tempo Storm, Shoot to Kill, and Team Envy. 1 placement team and 3 absolute fraggers, Cameron. We're going to jump over. We'll take a look at these guys as they get ready for their game. And I want you to talk to me a little bit more about our first team up on this list, Space Station Gaming.
We already mentioned about Space Station Gaming. They aren't the best at forcing themselves into a situation, but they're good at grabbing what they have. And last game was a good example of that. It was a struggle for them in the early game. They actually lost 3 of their members, but H-Win, the solo player left, was able to snake it out and grabbed a really good opportunity when he found it with the 1v1 against Nerf to put himself higher, I believe, into a 5th place with 3 kills. So if these guys continue to do that, continue to grab everything that's given to them, they can collect a good amount of points and put themselves high up in the standings.
It's exciting to see them doing so well. There was a time back around Katowice that we talked about them as one of the top 3 or 4 teams.
Yeah.
They fell off, and now they've come back in a big way. Another team that has always been around and has impressed us as well is Shoot to Kill. These guys are, I like to call them a black hole, because if you walk into the area around them, they absolutely just suck you in and destroy you. They're phenomenal fraggers. Their area of control is what they specialize in, holding those compounds, making sure nobody comes too close. But they do have a weakness, and it's not just Alo's AK spray. It's the wild cards. The idea of an unpredictable team often costs a STK everything.
Yeah.
Now I'd like to take a look at those two teams side by side, compare a couple of stats here, and I think what we're going to see, exactly. So kills 14 versus 26, second versus 10th. Damage the same way, but placement.
I think, as you said, it's points overall still in Shoot2Kill's favor, but Space Station Gaming with the 2 wins, a good position for them, even though they don't have the kills and the damage that Shoot2Kill
Keep in mind, that's the day 1 totals, right? So, so Space Station has climbed up because of that win they got earlier today, but that's going to be the story. SSG is relying a lot on steady play and placement, whereas SDK is looking for those kills, looking for that control. Talk to me about our next featured team, Cameron, Tempo Storm.
I have heard from multiple players in the stadium right now that they really, really hate playing against this team because you never know what they're going to do. They are a force of nature, a force of chaos in the server. And you can see that chaos on the leaderboards. They will have some amazing games. They will put up big numbers, but they will also sometimes overextend and get taken out. They are exciting. They are a big presence in the server.
And last but not least, our final featured team for this round is going to be Envy. Half of their points in the finals of the preseason were from kills. These guys know how to take people out. They've got, in my opinion, 3 of the best fraggers in North America. The return of Caden brings back, I think, a strength to them. And I look forward to what they put together. So a big shout out to them. Venerated, quiet but deadly. This is a team that we can expect great things from as they get comfortable with the new meta. Comparing Sharky and Venerated, just an interesting comparison. 8 and 6, but look at the damage on Sharky. Good night.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous on him. And Tempo Storm as a whole, because they went on a tear yesterday, and that's going to be reflective in the numbers on Sharky. Venerated, though, this does look quite low for me for what we're used to and expecting from that player. He's often another one of the players that can put up the big numbers.
What a great pickup in the form of Sharky. Tempo got him for the preseason and has been phenomenal. That said, those are the teams that we'll be taking a look at, and the casters will be telling you all about it. Is the NPL's own version of the Triforce, Moses, Matrim, and Porosaurus.
Thanks so much, Mr. Toffees, and welcome back to the caster desk. I am Porosaurus. Joining me again, WTF, Moses, and Matrim. We're about to take it into game 3, but let's take a look at these focus teams first.
All right, so naturally we're looking at Space Station Gaming here, just coming off of a nice set of plays while Smurf gives us those thumbs up there. And naturally, the hair extraordinaire down there.
The hair extraordinaire.
I mean, yeah, it is extraordinary, that's for sure. I would like to see Smurf maybe mix it up a little bit with his trademarks, but regardless, moving on to Shoot2Kill, a quiet day for them, but I think they've been doing okay. We haven't seen an update just yet as to what their kills and damage look like just yet, at least individually. Hopefully see some of that shortly. Regardless, for all these guys, it's been kind of a quieter day than they had yesterday, I think.
But still quietly consistent. They're holding that 6th place spot. These guys are doing such a great job, but they just don't always make it into that last fight.
Yeah, we need to still holding out for that big win from them as we see Tempo Storm, as Cameron said, dominating these lobbies. Other teams hate to play them because they're just so damn good.
Stop staring at my soul, Zampa. I don't like it.
Zampa coming for your life force.
Do you have any cake?
Your life force and or cake.
All right, now this is the one that kind of throws me. If you had told me on day 2 Envy would be in 10th place at this stage of the point, I would be surprised with that. I was expecting them to be a little bit higher on this.
I think it's their rotations. The rotations today have not been easy for them. I mean, the first game set the tone there where they got scattered on the Severny Bridge. Now going back to Erangel, it's going to be staying here on Miramar. Looking forward to Erangel. Maybe they can turn it around for the last 2 games.
I always love whenever we pan over the audience and you see them realize it and they're like, oh my God, what do I do? Do I look? Do I smile? But enough of that as we're making our way into match 3 for the day, and it's going to be Miramar again, and I hope it lives up to the last round. Because again, I got to say, I feel bad. I used to give Miramar a little bit of trash talk.
Everybody did.
It wasn't necessarily the most fun game to watch, but really, these Miramar games at NPL have been absolutely amazing.
Oh, 100%. I mean, going back all the way to qualifiers, I mean, we saw some of the most exciting action that we've seen in competitive PUBG in North America on Miramar. So holding true as we hit the regular season, the plane has finished. Everybody is dropping. Looks like everybody going to their normal locations, though.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be more of the same. Tempo Storm making their way down. And for the most part, Tempo Storm has been playing well. I think that with Sharky being first in damage, he's really setting the tone for the rest of his squad to perform very well. And with Zampa as his compadre in fragging, it's a very potent duo with Maluk and Dre kind of bringing up the whole team. I really like the way Tempo Storm has been playing.
I really enjoy just watching Zampa and Sharky play together. They've kind of unlocked each other to a certain degree, and it's really fun to watch. Meanwhile, Maluk and your boy Dre also performing really well.
Yeah, YTEMP Fate heading back to El Pozo for this round, and they're going to be happy with that decision as the circle has popped and is going to be right on the middle of El Pozo as Wildcard making their way up to La Cobra area. And you also have Endemic in circle, so a few teams are going to have to make their way in, but this is one of those interesting circles where the entire western edge is essentially cut off.
So this is going to be the YTEMP Fate game again. If they can manage to hold on to Pozo, get their loot done, condense likely on the eastern side of Pozo. With the circle being so far out of the map on the western side, you have to assume it's going to shift further to the east as time goes on. Obviously, that north-south connection is going to be good for a team like Endemic, who also is in that area.
So
and Maluk, there is a tree there. Keep your eyes on the road.
Hitting
I
literally
love how he hits
every
the tree and he's like, fine, I'm not going to go that way anymore.
It's like playing with you, Matt. I swear, anytime I hop in a car with you, you're like, the map's always open. We hit literally every single tree.
You always make that comment, but I've never seen you drive once. And you want to know why?
Because he's dead all the
You
time.
can't even make it more than 5 feet driving a car.
That's not true. It's because I like to be driven, sir. I'm used to luxury.
Home.
Dies to
James.
hanging out in the blue.
Exactly.
First circle, still out there forever. It's his home.
That's topical, right? Driving Miss Daisy, right? Millennials, right? Everybody?
Yeah, everybody's hot to that new hip movie, Driving Miss Daisy. I don't even think Driving Miss Daisy was hip and relevant when it came. I mean, it was
When you were a boy
great
in the 70s?
Look, you know what? I don't need to hear from you. I'll do the hustle all over you. As I see Shoot to Kill, going to loot up over here in Hacienda del Patron. At least Alo is. Alo's going to come out with a nice little chunk of loot for himself.
Well, I mean, bit of an interesting stat with Alo is that Poro is his biological father.
No, not Alo.
And I was wondering when the first Moses troll information was going to come out.
It was
and there it
Hexetti.
is.
Oh, right, Hexetti.
Hexetti.
Yeah, well.
Hexetti, apparently,
He sent him
we
to
look
Europe.
exactly the same. I don't know. We just sent him off to Europe for a better life.
Oh my God.
To live a better life.
We'll have to find if production can one day get the photo of you as a svelte 26-year-old man back in the
Please.
80s. I mean, it was
No.
it was a good time.
Well, it's on his Twitter, and that's where all the jokes came from.
Look,
so.
I am not that old. Now you need to calm down. pull it back in, brother.
These are
All right.
computers we're looking at, by the way. Regardless, Alo, he's got himself the loot. He's got himself a Murado. It's time to rotate out of Hacienda.
Yeah, as we said, a lot of these teams getting used to this new loot settings where there's so many ARs, so many DMRs dropping immediately. They're getting their looting done relatively quickly, already starting their transitions in here at 4 minutes, 20 seconds. You can see Oxy already hopping into their vehicles, making their way a little bit more to a more centralized location. Shoot to Kill already on their way. So I think a lot of these teams starting to kind of adapt to these new settings.
It's been a change of pace for sure, especially the center-based strategy being so prevalent in the game. We see that, I think the center strategy is just the odds play. It has always been that way through PUBG, but now it's a little bit more pressured, not to mention that kills. Ghost Gaming has been playing the edge strategy, and it has not been working for them today.
Well, I think that bases off of the new circle settings.
Right.
Like beforehand, it was much safer to play edge because you had a little bit more time.
Yep.
Now, whenever the circle condenses down and you're playing edge and it hard shifts away from you, that's such a rough rotation you have to make.
Yeah, it's pretty much like Moses said, it's playing your odds, really. If you get caught up in a hard shift away, then, playing the edge obviously not going to work out too well for you as the circle's going to start moving. And you're not going to be able to really take your time to engage upon a fight the way you normally would want to.
And here we go. Looks like we're getting a little bit of a repeat of friends hanging out next to each other, as it's going to be Endemic, Cloud9, and Simplicity, all within relative touching distance of each other off the get-go, no doubt.
Smoke's already out. We see Simplicity trying to make their way around. They know Cloud9's exactly where they are. I'm not sure if Cloud9 is aware of them, though.
Cloud9, I think, just rotated up into this location. They probably heard the vehicles, but probably not expecting anybody to be playing this hillside this early. I mean, it is a strong hillside and has a lot of use points, but at this stage of the game, not a lot of teams play like this. Only really Simplicity plays this out in the open on this type of location.
And Simplicity, they had such a terrific preseason, but they're not able to roll through as they have been in the past. But now Cloud9's moving out into the open. This is where Simplicity is going to want to spring a trap.
This is a mistake from Simplicity, letting them escape this position they were in. They had such a strong spot here. Now they're trying to reposition their cars, just doing some general maintenance work.
But here it goes. With this rotation up, this could be absolutely pivotal time. As you can see, Simplicity is trying to rotate through. Check Shooter has been left by himself now. Is anybody going to spot this out? Looks like Cloud9 is caught up looking the other direction. Yes, Check Shooter runs back for his vehicle. Going to take a little bit of damage, but Profi might have the angle to finish it off. The spray is going to come out, go a little bit wide there. Can he collect up onto it? A lot of damage coming about, but it's going to be Simplicity that actually gets the return down back over towards Profi instead.
Penalil does end up going down, though, from Wolf from long range, and it looks like Endemic actually pushing on top of him.
This is going to be Endemic's now opportunity to third party. Wolf, again, only with the hollow sight, trying to land a little bit of damage, a shot here and there for Wolf.
Just doing a hard peek over onto the side of it. Not even doing the leans either. Just that's more of a pressure shot, to say the least. So now Simplicity going to be able to get their res back off. Maybe Pentalil getting real close there. Wooly, don't break away from that, otherwise your friend is dead.
Check Shooter going for the med. Penta is in a situation where he's got to be res, but he's very low on health. And here comes Oxy as well, arriving on scene a little bit further to the north. For Check Shooter, he's going to back away, find that hard cover, see if he can pick up some more gear, potentially replace anything that might have been damaged in that initial exchange. So for now, between these three teams, Simplicity's in the middle, and they have not been feeling so good with Wolf at the ready with that Car 98.
Now, based off their position, since each one of these teams had to rotate, this could be a huge kill box that has to rotate next to it.
Yeah, this is all going down in the dead center of the circle right now. As you can see, Simplicity already has the compound. Cloud9 taking over that spot Simplicity was holding. They do like those high ground open area positions, though.
Looking at Wolf, again, they're holding onto this God building. They're just kind of using it to their advantage. I think this is going to be where they're calling home. They're basically dead center. The center of the map beginning to be more dense. YTM Fate has gone for a 2-2 split, but that edge of the zone still being contested with Noble, Wildcard, and Vicious Gaming trying to find way into the north side.
I mean, I guess there stands a little debate, and I guess I'd pick your brain on this one, Moses. Do you think it is better to play the compounds rather than to play these open area, high, kind of high terrain area locations like some of these teams decided to do?
In the mid game, I believe, in the early game as well, kind of where we're at right now, it's better to be interior, because really, unless you're in a big city like Pozo, that was the thing with YTM Fate. They flexed out. That means they cannot get crashed upon. And when you're in a big city, you might find yourself being encroached by different teams, and then you're surrounded. But yes, like Endemic, taking a compound like this where they can control it very easily, that's where you want to be in the mid game.
But see, I think I'm on the other side of that one. Like, I actually enjoy getting into a highly defendable position really high and getting the information point to monitor rotations. I know it's riskier, but the information is so nice.
Yeah, it's flank central there.
Especially on Miramar.
Yeah, and again, like, you can get positions where people sneak up on you, and you won't even know until it's way too late. Then there's third parties happening. It can get very messy if you're not careful.
Oh, Jason getting into that vehicle.
Ooh, that's a headshot.
All right, so we got Hypoc lining up, trying to connect over, and Jason narrowly making over the top of that. Meanwhile, Clam Basher also retreating through, and it's going to be Crispier that goes ahead and finds out Jason, and that's going to be flushed out, and he is now down and dead. Rotations now coming over towards Oxy as they're going to opt into moving into El Pozo, YTM Fate's territory, but YTM Fate actually running a 2-2 split at the time, with 2 members still being inside of Pozo and 2 more making their way up next to Crater Fields. So, going to have to monitor how the rotations come around here, as this is going to be in YTM Fate's backyard.
Envy is really far away on the south side. I think they're playing a little tentatively now. We talked about their rotations. They're going to be coming in late. United has not been having a good time, but here comes Adam. He's got that SLR at the ready.
We go shoot to kill, trying to take those long-range shots, but you talk about Envy being a long way away. Simplicity just now leaving Los Leones, eating a whole bunch of blue right now. You can see shoot to kill very spread out right here, but they've kind of become known for this. This might be one of the secrets to their success when it comes to damage. They get to a lot of information, a lot of terrain covered, but they also put themselves at a big risk.
Space Station Gaming still just doing a little bit more information gathering at this stage. This is kind of what they're known how to play. They're not unless they feel like they have a full-on opportunity to go and get a kill off of it. They'll just kind of watch somebody, let them lead the way and take the damage, and then rotate counter to how they move. While that gets them the good positioning, that doesn't always get them the kills.
Adam just skirting away. For the rest of Envy, they're going to come in on the southern side behind United, who's arriving late to the zone. Lazarus is there as well, and that southern side is now starting to heat up.
Yeah, it looks like Space Station going to pull off of this. Not too surprising, as even if they were going to get it down on that, you don't really end up, you're not really in a position to push onto this. But now Ghost is coming right up behind him.
All right, so we got Frolicker way up on top of this, taking a little bit of damage. Meanwhile, the rest of Ghost now relocating down towards the south, but Frolicker has himself a good sightline onto it, but it's a dangerous sightline. With this, he sees most of the members from Space Station Gaming just running their way up the hill.
Dangerous peaks here from Frolicker. He's got stuck on the side of this hill, and he knows he's going to have to back away.
So with this, almost looks like we could see a couple of position movements coming out from Ghost down there. If there's any type of damage or a strong knock that he can directly identify, that might unlock the other members of Ghost who might be moving into a position where they could potentially capitalize off this.
He's gonna destroy these vehicle tires as best he can. So now I'm gonna take it back. Frolicker's in a great spot to be able to now disable the vehicles of Space Station Gaming, preventing them from getting away too easily. He's gonna commit to this fight, not necessarily head to head, but he's gonna make it not so easy for Space Station Gaming to get an edge on Ghost.
Deny the utility.
Currently in circle as well, but it looks like Ghost, the rest of his teammates moving a little bit away from him here, so maybe keeping Frolicker here as oversight onto SSG. Ghost might turn this into a fight later, but Venerated trying to make their way into the circle.
And it's going to be Lazarus that's just taking a couple of shots over at Venerated. You can see the Murados just tearing down the hillside, just trying to make their way over. Terro's going to take a little bit of damage, but not enough to really do anything scary to him. Meanwhile, the rest of the Envy guys going to be making their way up a similar path, as you can see, just tearing down the road. There's smoke trailing back behind them.
So for now, it's going to be Envy, again, just looking to make a safe entry. If they can stay strong as 4, it's so important here in the mid-game on Miramar, and really any game. Well, that's 2 back-to-back shots landing from Woe. That's I mean, that's not bad. That's a little bit of damage coming in, but they're following the same path over and over. But Patcaps is going to avoid the withering shots of Woe. He's got to make it to the rest of his team.
Well, he has the slower vehicle on this, so it looks like he was just trying to get into a better position, kind of move away from E United. You can see holding down this lower ground position right next to him. Wow. But that's going to be Lazarus actually getting the down onto Caden and a flush as well. Patcaps out in the middle of the road.
No.
His car's taking too much damage, and there's just too many angles. So Taro's trying to run over there. This could be terrible for Taro. Now he's in a bad spot as well. You can see he just spins the wheel, runs back over to the building. Now then, E United, they're holding down this low ground spot. They were doing some damage, but it was going to be Lazarus that actually got the kills.
You know what? We're looking at the shot here. It looks like Taro and Venerated are the only ones talking. Obviously, it's these types of situations with Envy, it's not really on them to, it's not a criticism, but for them, they need to communicate and try and get this thing going, because now they're down to 2.
You can see that's going to be Interrogate still down there trying to take a couple of shots back up towards the Lazarus guys. But again, Lazarus being very active in this early mid-game positioning. I really like these style of plays coming out from them.
Yeah, I think this is just a penalty of Envy coming in so late, as you said. I mean, especially when these circles move as fast as they do, they just come in, they have to deal with E United and Lazarus, shots from both locations. They get pincered, and now they're just down to 2 as Zampa trying to sneak his way around Simplicity.
Massive crash now into Pozo as we've centered the circle around that area. So now Oxy, Noble, Tempo Storm, everyone going to try and get there. Cloud9 there as well. Smoking Aces is getting active, and Y10 Fates on the northern side trying to hold out Wildcard.
All right, so here you go. You got D-Master stepping up, hitting some nice spray back over onto, I believe it was going to be Balak that gets taken down there. Going to get flushed out. Now then, you can see off in the distance, Shoot to Kill also getting down, but it's going to be Ghost ramming right into their same location. Remember, Space Station Gaming does have a nice oversight positioning for this, but Shoot to Kill now just running around inside of here, trying to listen for where the footsteps are coming from. Ghost just crashed here, managed to get a little bit of damage off, jumped out, and they're going to get the flush onto one of the members. But 3 members from Shoot to Kill still in this position, but just 2 members from Ghost holding down these 2 little buildings separating out. Meanwhile, Alo off in this one spot by himself.
2-1 split now for Shoot to Kill. They lost 1 already. And Draslin and McCoy, having taken the damage themselves on the way through, they're down to them and Frolicker, who is lagging behind. So for Space Station Gaming, they're coming in on the same area, but they're being a little bit more passive as Alo just looking for information.
It almost feels like Shoot to Kill has left him here to be by himself. They know it might be a little bit too rough of a spot, so now he just has to play it by his lonesome.
Yeah, Shoot to Kill maybe spending a little bit too long in that 2-2 split. Now they're going to end up paying the prices. Alo going to try to take some shots at McCoy. Nothing's going to land, though.
I get the feeling that Ghost has now figured out that there's only one person here. You can see them being a little bit more active. Alo throwing down the nades, trying to make sure that he blocks entrances out. But McCoy is starting to run down and through a little bit of shots coming on the other angle. But Frolicker actually nades down McCoy. And look at this. Alo jumps back down and through, steps around the outside of it, gets the down onto him, and that's going to be 2 kills going over to shoot to kill. Very nice play. But Drassel doesn't have anything that he wants to leave yet. He wants to come over here. He wants to get a little bit of vengeance. He still knows it's a 1, but Alo has the time. He might be able to get the meds off. Drassel is still playing this so quietly, but Space Station Gaming hears everything that's happening on the outside of the Smurf, thinking about participating inside the fight.
Drassel's gonna line.
Steps over. Now he's gonna get downed, and that's gonna be Alo getting knocked.
Good job by Drassel holding that angle, but now he's got to deal with Space Station.
He's going for the flush, but I mean, that didn't go well for Ghost. That's Drassel still alive, but that was a non-starter for Ghost, and they're in trouble here. They might go at 16th place.
Yeah, Drassel is in a world of hurt. Space Station Gaming has the angles for this. They can just play around it. They have to be aware. If they're paying attention to the kill feed, they have all the information they need.
Space Station Gaming's feeling good about this. Realistically, they know what's just happened, and they're looking for an angle. They don't know how many people from Ghost are left, however, unless they were paying very close attention. They did tangle up with Ghost once already, so they're just pre-firing, trying to get any movement from Drassel, but it's not looking good for poor Drassel as he's stuck here.
Yeah, the circle's going to force him in here eventually. Space Station knows they just have to bide their time. Eventually they'll see him. But now he's got a vehicle. Maybe he can try to make some kind of run here. Shoot to kill, though. Still paying attention.
This is going to be one of the most dangerous crosses he's going to have to commit.
They're shooting his tires.
Tires out. Now he's in the blue, rolling around. 2 tires now down. Blue's ticking for a lot of damage. And now he has to either just choose to outrun it. Is he going to try to go for a med here?
He's got a med.
Going to throw down the smokes. Too many angles now. Fire coming over there. Space Station Gaming seems like they just have a bead on him. But the longer they wait to try to take down Drassel, this could turn out bad for them as well, as they still need to make their way inside the safe zone.
Now they're taking fire from shoot to kill.
Shoot to kill has got an angle now, but they have to worry about Space Station Gaming. Space Station sneakily has been taking a long time to enter the zone as well. They're going to come in on the edge, but they're not really paying attention, I don't believe, to how much cover is going to be left, but they will finish off Drassel very quickly.
All right, so now we've got Space Station Gaming retreating back. They're going to get into a nice defendable position. 43 alive, 15 teams still up and active. And you can see it's all about El Pozo right now, is right on the edge of the circle. We've got Taro, Oxy, Wildcard, Vicious Gaming, all stacked up right next to each other.
United has taken an interesting position outside of Pozo. They're going to try and decide if it's going to be the right decision, because Pozo might shift out of the circle. They've got an open spot on the southern side. Not a lot of cover to work with, but for Envy, they've got 2 left on the other side of Pozo. We'll see how they can manage this city fight.
I might caster curse this right now, but you saw yesterday what happened during Game 2, our first time on Miramar. We saw a multi-level fight happen on the top of Picado, El Pozo, a lot of those skyscraper-type buildings. Could we be shaping up for another match like that?
Oh my God, but before we even get to that stage, look, before they can get to those buildings that could provide so much safety, Shoot to Kill has to bounce from rock to rock as bullets just cascade right down next to them. Purdy Curdy trying to figure out some type of path. Meanwhile, Space Station Gaming in a similar boat.
For Space Station, again, they're coming in on the hillside, but look how much cover they have to work with when they get off this hill. There's not a lot there. They have open fields on the way down. Shoot to Kill is there. I wonder, I think Space Station has enough movement and enough space to get into Pozo, but we'll see what this next shift looks like.
This is going to be really rough for them, and depending on where this circle goes, they don't have any vehicles far enough. Oh, that's
not
actually
bad.
A good shift for Space Station, as now all these teams up to the west are going to have to make their way through the streets of El Pozo.
We already talked about E-United. They have the split on the eastern side of the zone. They're out in this open field. They're basically next to hay bales, a couple little cover pieces here and there, but now they have a nice spot to work with, because I imagine that Pozo will likely shift out of the zone, centering around where Smoking Aces is. So if you're E-United, this is the play with 4 alive to try and make a good game here, and they desperately need it.
And here we go. We've got the urban combat starting to break down as people are having to jump, check every single corner, look every single angle as they try to approach through. And if you're already just a duo, this is so dangerous. This is so scary. But it's going to be Oxy off of one angle. How is Envy going to play this? They're going to have to cross here through. They should have just spotted out Clam, and here goes the shots on one angle for it, but it's actually going to be Space Station's Crow that's going to be able to get some kills. So now
Space Station is trying to make a press, and it's not going well.
So now with this, Envy slowly creeping their way back over. They saw where Oxy ran to, so they're going to make their way over, but it's going to be Smoking Aces now posted up. They've got Space Station Gaming right next to him. E-United that we were just talking about a second ago as well.
For the looks now, it looks like Space Station Gaming has made entry. They've got a couple of downs. I'm not sure if they have any reses available, but it looks like it's Smurf and Vexel alone. United's looking good. They're holding their position. They're going to maintain their spot in the bowl. Lazarus is trying to roll through the southern end. They're in Endemic's territory right now. Basher taking shots with the Mini.
So with this, Envy's had to retreat back down behind these barrels. It looks like Oxy's moving forward into a little bit better of a position. They want to try to cut off, maybe gatekeep them out. You can see that Cloud9 is just down below this. Basher feels like he has a great angle for it, and Venerated is just trying to dodge the bullets all Matrix style. Now has to retreat back down to get some more health. See smokes being thrown out from the teammate. This might be the opportunity for Basher to make another reposition.
United's doing a good job in their open position. They're bashing Lazarus on the outside of the zone. Oh man, Venerated's not feeling very good. He's got a couple extra holes in his head now.
And even if they make the crossover, look at that. It's just Clam waiting over there. So they know they're going to have to rotate down. But this is now going to force Envy to have to contend with Cloud9 and the sight lines that they have set up. But Oxy's already holding down another position as well, just right as soon as they cross through this. Which direction is Clam going to be looking whenever Envy decides to run? And it looks like it might be Envy's direction. Shots are now going through. Not going to connect. Remember, there are smokes down at the time. There they go, full flaming up. But J-Sank with a nice nade's going to knock down Venerated right up inside their face. Terra Gates down to near on no life. 24 hit points, all things remaining. It's just nades. Blue's coming through here. I don't think he has the time for it. He's just going to drop down, and Envy is now out. Oxy's going to start running their way through, but now they have to deal with Cloud9 just to the south of them as Smurf is hiding inside of a trash can.
That's a dump truck.
Dump truck.
Yeah, it's a dump truck trash can regardless. This is what United wanted. It shifted almost all the way out of Pozo. They need to now regain position in the center of the zone, but I like this positioning from them. It's going to be hard, however. There's going to be a lot of eyes looking at them now, so if you're United, maybe taking the ridge line where Dill Hero is, that might be the play for now, but they have so much pressure coming their way shortly.
And we've talked about this for so long. Anytime you see these circles fall on top of these major cities like this, once the circle pulls away from it, it becomes an absolute bloodbath, and you never know if you're going to make it out.
I mean, look at this. Look at the tracers just running through the smokes. We've got Lazarus that's trying to throw down any type of smoke, try to get some type of utility. They only need to make it about 20 feet in front of them, but there are so many teams that are just making their way out of El Pozo. It is so dangerous.
Where's Dill Hero going? Dill Hero's pressed all the way out. He's right close to shoot to kill now, and he's going for a shot on Purdy Curdy.
Meanwhile, we do have Lazarus still just trying to make their crossover here as Kane. It's going to be Cloud9 hitting the shots onto Woe. Now it's just Felix trying to make his way down the same hillside. Has to walk the same path that his teammate just died from. And Felix, you can see, taking some damage here. 38-16. One more bullet. That's going to be all she wrote. Lazarus now down and out. 10 teams remaining, 24 alive. And Adam holding down that position you were talking about just a second ago with Dill Hero and the rest of United making their way up next to it.
As expected, Pistola Time went and collected Geist. They've taken the ridge line. This is the spot that United has chosen, but Cloud9 has direct line of sight onto them.
Yeah, and that's going to make it a little bit more dangerous. So Adam getting saved by the third party. Sometimes you live by the third party, sometimes you die by the third party, and this time Adam is thanking Cloud9 so much, but he still has to run his way forward. Loeb's going to go ahead and take down J-Sank, flushing that out.
Why tempt fate? Still 4 strong, pushing out of El Pozo, but they're running right into the boys from Smoking Aces right now.
All right, so we've got Cloud9 still holding this angle. Look at how many teams are all stacked in this general location. We've got Oxy just to the north of it, Noble right over there next to it, White Fate like you were talking about just a second ago, Poro, but we've got Adam looking back down. He knows E United's there. He has to hit some type of shots. He needs to get something out of this as now Cloud9 is distracted and can no longer help him. But look at that. It's going to be shots coming out from Fate. Adam still needing to make his way down this hillside. He's got guys in front of him, and there is nowhere to go as he dies and rolls down next to that tree.
Pistola Time was just a little bit out of position. Gets punished by Fate.
So with this, E United have themselves a nice little dip where it's a ton of fields. Everybody is just clinging to whatever form of safety they can inside the hillsides and inside the buildings, except for Zampa. Zampa's just hiding out inside of the hay bales like, nah, you guys all fight. It's fine. I'm just going to chill out here.
So comfortable, so good right now, just hanging out.
Let's see if it comes out of Pozo now. We're going to see another circle shift shortly, and that's going to really decide what happens on the northern side of this last zone, or second to last zone, I should say. With Cloud9 with 4, they're feeling good, but again, if they can use the ridgeline, I like their strong positioning. I like the idea from United, but Fate now getting pressure from Space Station Gaming. We center basically right in the middle.
Space Station Gaming going to get some shots over onto Fate, get down a flush, and then another down to follow through. So now you can see Vexel's got a lot of damage on him. He's only got 4 hit points left, but it's going to be Hypoc that's going to have to retreat away from Valiate.
Nice.
But Hetror, again, Nade got Hetror coming up big, getting a necessary flush onto this. Hetror still just trying to throw down some smokes. Maybe they can make it back over to Valiate. They need to provide some form of pressure to keep Vexel held.
I like the utility usage from Y10 Fate. They should be able to get Valiant here if he crawls into the smoke. Vexel is going to try and pressure that, prevent the res, and here comes the nades.
All right, Vexel has the angle. He has to have an idea. He knows where the smokes are. Now it's just a matter of where is it going to bounce, and it's going to go a little bit too far on the first one. Second one's going to roll upside the hill. Third one looks like it's going to continue on the same path, and somehow he's going to be able to get this res off.
He's threw them all in the same spot.
Yep.
You have to vary those up a little bit if you want to try and fish with dynamite.
Well, here comes Noble as well. You got to be Noble creeping around on the western side. The shots are starting to come out.
All right, we got Y10 Fate looking back up multiple angles right now as everybody's starting to condense around them as they're in one of the few remaining buildings. It's actually going to be Zampa getting a kill as well. Whoa! Valiant!
Wow. Other side of the door.
Right next to him. So Valiant now has an idea on where Noble's at. Space Station Gaming getting eliminated here, and uh-oh, Noble, you're walking right into it.
Nice.
Free fire coming through. Here are the footsteps, but Fudge manages to juke away from him. Now Valiant knows he hits the shot, steps out, and he's going to go for the down onto it, but Valiant takes a lot of damage as well. The rest of Y10 Fate trying to provide some type of support. We can see Valiant just spraying inside the smoke. Nades are starting to come back through on both angles for it. Hetro's trying to step over, does get the down onto it. Very nice shots coming out, and that's going to push Y10 Fate up to 8 kills.
Hetro's playing so well right now.
Oh, without a doubt. Zampa managed to get his kill from just a second ago, and he's just messing with E United right now. Sure, he's inside the hay bales, but everybody else was avoiding it. Zampa's just trying to survive inside of it right now. We still have so many teams that are back up on that hillside, though.
Cloud9's gone for a split in the center.
Oh, Hypoc.
Guess what?
10 kills now for Y10 Fate as they push down into, as you said, C9 holding that ridge line, though.
Yeah, this is looking good, but as Y10 Fate's got a high ground position now.
Basher slowly creeping up right next to Cloud9. He could be an influencing factor inside that, but a lot of damage now coming over towards him. You can see Cloud9 fighting multiple angles. Oxymora now eliminated as he got spotted out. So here you go. You've got Cloud9 facing off against Y10 Fate. This is a tale as old as time in PUBG history. Taking shots at it's like, is anybody inside that? No.
You know what? If Cloud9's patient, they should be able to secure this game.
They should. Oh, Nerf goes down.
But with that, that's necessary. You just got to stop doing that. You keep making these assumptions, Moses. You don't know everything. So now Y10 Fate hitting a very necessary shot. Nerf is also kind of by himself. This is going to put a lot of pressure onto Cloud9. Do they want to try to keep this up and even? They know that they have the numbers advantage. Jumping down, that was the risky play, and now Y10 Fate has the numbers advantage, and Cloud9 is split on two different angles. Here comes the peaks up. You can see Lobes. He knows exactly where they're running through from. He needs to hit these shots. Damage is coming out onto Hypoc. But now, smoke's starting to come out from Y10 Fate. Can K-Mine make it over here? Can he get these reses with the smokes down? Might not be able to get spotted out, but Lobes takes so much damage, but the distraction could be enough.
It's coming apart. It's coming apart.
K-Mine is falling down as well. 3 members of Cloud9 just huddling behind a rock as Y10 Fate run down the hillside, and they know it's just Lobes at this point. They can do the math. They know they've got 3 up. And look at Cloud9 just crawling towards Lobes like, we know you can't res us, but maybe we can get some information. Hetchor gonna go down to the blue because he knew it was too risky, but gives away the position. And Y10 Fate with the 15 kills coming up with another round win.
If Cloud9 hadn't held those two peaks and maybe a little bit more patience, they could have potentially used the position to win that game. But Y10 Fate hit those headshots and dominated.
See, you try to kill the hype.
Look at the map.
You try to kill the hype, Moses, and you're like, oh, this is the way it should go.
I'm not
And
killing
every
any
single
hype
time
at
it
all,
goes
dude.
away.
I was looking at the map and Cloud9 had a split in the center.
No, you got to call it what it is. That was a throw.
Yeah.
C9 threw. Like they
were holding long peaks,
circle.
man.
They had the circle. Y10 Fate had to push all the way across the damn street. All they had to do was just hold their positions and wait for them to push right into them. There was nothing they could do. Instead, they just end up going down one after another.
They were just looking for the kills, man. I think I understand what they were doing. They were trying to get the initial opening frag, but they forgot about Hetchor, man. Hetchor with that sniper rifle shot, Hypoc with the sniper rifle shots, took them down.
To be fair, Hetchor also did have a very nice high angle looking back down onto Cloud9, so it was hard for them to peek back out as well, and that's what kind of initiated the downfall.
You don't peek then. You wait for the circle to do the job for you.
You don't get the information, and then you don't know when to catch them when they're running down. So sooner or later, you have to lean out to take the shots. You guys are making it like Cloud9 catastrophe. Wow. Really, it's just the fact that a nice shot was hit whenever they were trying to get information.
Look, I'm sorry. If they have 4 up, they have the circle, and there's only 7 alive, yeah,
It's
a
a
throw. It was a throw.
4v3, but yes, they did get down. They got downed off of a peak, and then the jump down off the side was where I think the big problem happened.
Well,
Not the initial down.
I didn't hear
but
your
the
prediction.
Let's go back down there after. You're right, because I was just doing stuff.
I wait until someone wins to make my prediction.
Not true. That is 100% true. I had to wear tights. I got pied in the face. I have made predictions.
Completely beside the point, though. No matter what Cloud9 did, Y10 Fate, a fantastic effort from those
100%.
boys.
15
kills. 15 kills. That's another win on the books for those guys, and they are looking absolutely just dominant right now.
They're feeling really good. I mean, you can see it after every round. They're getting up. They're being excited about it. They're starting to get into their groove. You can tell that this is starting to become their home. It's not necessarily not visiting the Super Arena anymore. This seems to be Y10 Fate's place to play at.
I like their ability to. After yesterday, they won a game. Seemed kind of jittery afterwards, but completely different story today.
Yeah, I mean, we heard a second ago.
2 kills.
Hands
Or 2
shaking
wins.
just a little bit. Let's find out this time around if Y10 Fate has anybody else's hands that are shaking.
Thanks so much, Matchroom. I'm here with Valiate, and I'm running out of Y10 Fate players to introduce between yesterday and today. You guys have had an excellent 2 days of PUBG so far, so what feeds into that?
Just a lot of, I guess, just experience. We've been to a lot of lands. We've been a team for a really long time, so a lot of practice, a lot of trial and error. It definitely wasn't this pretty when we first started, but practice makes perfect, so.
Well, I notice no matter who I'm talking to, when I ask about temperature of the team, when I ask about communication, when I ask about cohesion, I've heard wonderful things from every one of your players.
Yeah, I mean, we get along just fine. Like, if you hear our comms at the beginning of the game, it might not be the best to put it on stream, but it's pretty funny stuff. So we go into the games, high hopes. Even if, like yesterday, we got the decent kill win and we had like 3 bad games, but it's all a learning experience, so it doesn't really affect us.
Well, let's talk about this last game you just played, closing in on the city here, but it was a big spread out city. So tell me a little bit about how you approached it as a team.
Pozo's where we loot, so it's a little different. We normally don't get Pozo circles. So as a team, we wanted to split to make sure, like, if it does shrink off Pozo, it's kind of in a valley. So if you try to commit fully to Pozo and you try to run out with vehicles, you're getting held by a bunch of teams. So we did kind of a greedy split, holding east side of Pozo and then north side. And based on the shrinks, we decided, you know what, we're just going to regroup, push through as a team, and play off each other's strengths. So.
Well, I asked you something to talk about. You mentioned that flank from Space Station Gaming threw a little spanner in the works there. How'd you play that off?
So we killed, I guess, United was behind us in the warehouses. We killed him. We thought it was clear. We didn't realize SSG was, like, I guess, pushing alongside blue. So we pushed out to, like, clear the field, get as many kills because all the kills matter in this new point system. So once we both got knocked, Tetra clutched up, got the nade, got the finish. Hypoc was covering us, so I didn't get down because in this new point system, everyone's going for finishes. So it was definitely risky, but we got good teammates covering us. So once we regrouped, killed SSG, it was all ups from there.
Now, you mentioned the point system. You mentioned some people playing a little bit differently because of the value of kills here. Have you guys discussed any changes to your strategy, or are you just playing a little more carefully?
We have discussed a little changes. It's not only the point system. The circle settings are moved faster and slower. So, like, on certain, like, second circle in Miramar, you can't really rotate because it's very rocky hills. So we talked about a lot of stuff yesterday, watched all the VODs from all the games, and definitely changed it up, and I guess it's showing, so.
Great. Well, thank you for the insights, and thank you guys for watching. We got another game coming up right after this break.